Hi there. So I guess this is going to be my preview of my court counter application that I created. Um, I did this one on my favorite sport of dodgeball, and in the sense that I guess I liked the sport as almost like a friendly competition. I thought this would be a really good way to start. The difference between, I guess, the court counter and the dodgeball application that I've created is that dodgeball involves not only the variable of points, but also the variable of people in and out of the game. And so I found that in order to keep track of both those variables, I first had to create two variables, but then also create two counters that were, I guess, in parallel to one another. I'm just going to break down, I guess, a simple amount of what I've done and try to explain a little bit of as I go along. So basically, exactly the same layout as the court counter application. Nothing much has changed except I basically rewrote two of the buttons and deleted the third one. I added another couple text views, one, I guess, especially for the players remaining. So basically, it starts off, I guess, Team A has 5 players remaining animated, so there's each 5 players on each team. So 5 for that one, and then as you scroll down again, there's another 5 players remaining for Team B. I kept the names Team A and Team B. I thought that's more than reasonable. If you wanted to input your own names, I could easily write something that creates a text, I guess, what is that thing called? I'm losing my mind. String, sorry. I could easily create myself a string to input the names and then store them in a variable that could be inputted into the text box. But from there, I guess the simple as that, I ended up moving again the reset game down out into the bottom. And I'm going to go switch over to my Java. So this is my main activity Java file. So basically what I ended up doing for mine, I inputted a bunch of new variables. So team B score, team A score are the same. Team B out starts with 5, team A out starts with 5. And then in order to get them to actually work in the buttons as I was, I guess, working through this, I actually had to convert them to strings. And so I had to create something called string team A, string team B, and then as well, because of dodgeball having a victory condition after all the players have lost, I ended up creating another 2 string variables that stored, I guess, the text game over, team A wins or team B wins. So here's, I guess, basically what I did, and I broke it down here. So reset game is still on top. To reset the game easily enough, you just had to do team A score, team B score, and then I inputted these 2 variables, team A and then team B, which then were equivalent to, I guess, an empty bracket and the team A and the team B score, just so that they're stored. And then team A out and team B out again are reset to 5, and then I just display them all back again. Further down here, it's same as ever, except I created a second box here. So instead of just being displayed for Team A and displaying the score, I ended up displaying, I guess, the Team A players, and I just renamed it Team A players as well. And then the second variable I stored this in is Team A persons. They're pretty much the exact same, except one stores one stores the other, and you'll get the sense if you read the code. I guess teammate out was the first variable and the first button that I ended up creating. And I put these little breaks in here because I had the application crashing for a while I was doing the if statement. And I just tried to break down, I guess, with the bug reporting what was going on. And I guess I just didn't display team back again. And so the problem was it wasn't displaying anything here when I went display team A, and then I had to, I guess, rework it in the sense. And it ended up working just fine afterwards. It was just a little problem with that if statement not having a place to store the variable that it needed to. And so here it is. Team A is when Team A gets out, Team A loses, I guess, a person. Team B then also gets a point, and then that point is then displayed in Team B is equal to the brackets Team B score. So then I then display Team A for Team A. I basically ended up replacing Team A and Team B. I wanted both of them to be refreshed each time the button is clicked, just to make sure there was no issues. I could have probably removed them in a couple instances, but just to make sure everything worked as well as possible. Then we have the if statement, which is just something very simple. If team A out is equivalent to 0, which is when no players are on the field, it will display the victory text. Else, it'll just keep going and it'll display team A's score again. Then again, displays team B, and then team A players remaining plus team A out displays the amount of players remaining on the field. And then team A in is a little different of a variable. Team A score is team A score plus 1, so team A gets a point. Team B also loses someone on the team, but team A also gains someone on their team. So you not only have to display the loss of their point, but the addition of another teammate into team A. So then team A is equivalent to the closed brackets of team A score, and then display for team A is team A. Again, there's another if statement. If team A or team B out, is equivalent to 0, it'll display team A victory, else it'll display team A again. And then again, display for team B, and then because of how we had to, first of all, remove the team B out and the team A out and change up those variables, you have to redisplay those variables back into the app. So I had to go right back in, and this is where the team A players comes into play, which then displays the actual text. Team A players remaining is equivalent to the amount of players in play. And the same is pretty much said for, I guess, team B. So we have the display for team B up here, same thing. And then we have the team B players, the same team B player as well as the team A players here. And then there's team B persons, which is then the variable that gets stored in. So again, simple as that. Team A, I guess, gains a point. Team B loses a player, ends up displaying that. And then if then else, if it's equivalent to 0, team A wins. Again, team B score adds a point. Team B out gains another point or another player. Team A out loses a player. And then team B scored is displayed. And then there's another if statement. If team A is equivalent to 0, team B wins. And then display for team A is display for team A is equal to team A, which is, again, the points again, just because I said I was refreshing the variables every time that this app pushes a button. And then there's team A players again, team A players remaining, team A players, team B players, actually that should be. I'll fix that right there for you. And there we go. That's the application. I'll just quickly show you in the emulator right here what it's doing. It's basically you start off with zeros. No one has a point on each team. The amount of players remaining, team A has 5, team B has 5. When team B gets someone out, or team B gets out, team A gains a point, and the amount of players drops to 4. If, say, team B gets someone in, they gain their players back, but they also get a point, and team B loses a player. And then, again, team A gets out twice, say. Not only does team B get more points, team A loses players to the amount of 2. So then say they get more points again. They get 2 players in. They add up the 2. They get 2 points. They also drop down team B to 3 players. So then say team B wants their revenge. They get more points. They get their players back. They drop them down to team A down to 2. They get more points. And then just say team A is on a losing streak here, and they just keep losing players, and that's how the game ends. Game over, team B wins. The game resets down to the very end, and then you hit the reset button to reset everything. So I hope you really liked my application. I hope everything looks all right in the code. If there's any improvements that can be made for my application, I know that I was storing, integers into strings, and I think that might not be the best way to do something like this. Please just give me a way of, knowing how to do this kind of thing, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If anything, feel free to contact me about this, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.